Alrighty. So let me just.
So you will be sharing.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, welcome. Sharing. Here we are again.
Welcome, everyone. Wild world. Internet.
It's a wild world. So
I'm
you
just
want
sharing.
me to share in anything? Or...
No, I'm sharing now.
You're okay. So I'm just going to get into.
So welcome, everyone.
Oh, yeah. You frozen?
Facebook Live radio slot. Yeah, I'm sharing.
Oh, I thought you were frozen.
No.
Like the movie.
No, I was just probably standing still. So everyone, welcome. This is our 8 p.m. Radio / Facebook Live. Normally we do it on. You what? We're live.
Yeah, I know, but you keep going frozen. You keep freezing.
Ah, okay. I'm not sure.
Oh. Okay, let's see. Just bear with us, everybody, until we get into the nitty-gritty of the topic. But at the moment, we're just trying to make this thing work because of the rain. Whoever's in Sydney knows that it's pouring at the moment. I left my tea there. I'll be back.
Are we good? Oh my God. Today's all about honesty. And I would have preferred Nancy to have her tea there and not to leave the broadcast.
That's okay. So
all right, we're all good, I think. Yeah, we're shared. We're shared. Let me just double check. Is it on?
Just bear with us, people. Don't get so impatient. Just stay.
We're good. We're live.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome. This is not Alumbra, but we're using the time that we've been sharing Alumbra, our radio program, live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. to do this
in
short
Spanish.
Video. What? What was that?
Yeah, it's in Spanish normally. We're normally in Spanish. Am I really slow, am I? Maybe because it's raining.
No, it's okay. You're okay.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I was saying, that we're using this time to get people used to the idea of meeting on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. But also to share a little bit of what's happening at the moment with us humans. What are we going through? How can we look at ourselves a little bit clearer and support ourselves and each other, and be honest? And that's what the theme is today.
Be honest. I remember that song from Jason Mraz, Be Honest.
I love that song. I forgot about that song, but yes.
But no, you're right. Just this day and age, and perhaps not just this day and age, but many things have happened over our lives, over history, where depending on what country you came from, perhaps, or what country you migrated to or escaped from, our ability to be honest may have been affected based on some of those experiences. And it's really interesting because when we start talking about honesty, it's not just about the ability to express, whether it's expressing it verbally through our body language, or a whole bunch of different ways, poetry, writing music. It's not so much about saying, let's be honest. It's actually, what's the impact if we're not honest and we're not honest with ourselves? What is the effect of the other side? It's like to say, it's like if we asked people that are listening, it's not about how to love, it's what happens if you don't love. Like, what's the impact of not loving yourself, right? And I think honesty it's a double-edged sword. It's not so much about being honest, it's about, if you're not honest, how does it affect you in the present moment, or how will it affect you in the future if you just hold on to those thoughts or hold on to those emotions where you aren't allowed, where you choose to resist that honesty.
Yes, yes, and I think we can look at. I mean, I don't know. It just comes to me that we can look at honesty in two ways at the moment. Honesty in regards to how honest and accountable you are in your life. And in this sense, we need to know, and I always tell my daughters this, that what we give is what we receive. So you're lying around, if you're betraying, if you're abusing others, we know that, I mean, eventually it'll come your way, one way or another. That's one level, and that's the external level. It's me and my world. But also that what we want to talk to everybody today is the internal level. How honest am I with what I am feeling? And this is such a deep, deep level of honesty that we're not used to. Because many times we think, oh no, I'll be honest to my world, you know, and I'm not gonna lie and blah 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 blah. But am I lying to me? Am I not expressing what I need to express? And sometimes this expressing, and we're going to use this word, is not politically correct. And we want to really discuss that today about the politically correct stuff that we're all going through at the moment. You want to say something?
No, absolutely agree. I mean,
Hello, Jess. How are you?
Political correctness.
Thanks for the people that are joining, and thanks for the ones that will join later. And we know that our videos are watched later, so thank you for appreciating. And also, we're so happy that whatever stuff we're talking about might be useful, and I'm so happy that we can share and it helps us.
I mean, it's very interesting. This is an interesting topic, particularly because it's in English, and but there could be an assumption, there could be a perception that Nancy and Christian, yes, we do meditation, we do music and whatever, blah blah blah, that we've got it all together and that we're never triggered by things. But the reality of this journey of self-growth and awareness is, regardless how peaceful you think you are, in an instant something's going to trigger you regardless. And so I was listening to The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, and he said, look, the moment you shine a light on you is when the darkness seems even more apparent. And this is the thing. For us in particular, for the last couple of years have been a bit tricky. There's been a lot of self-growth, and there's a lot of things we've been able to manifest over the last couple of years. But there has been an element of our personalities, and I'm glad we've chosen this topic today. There has been aspects of our life, personal circumstances where we have got frustrated. We have felt that we've had to resist the desire to express, and it's not so much expressing externally per se, but it's expressing in a way that's going to be healthy too, And it's been often a difficult road, and thank God that Nancy and I are pretty much aligned on many things in life in terms of philosophies and some of our belief systems and things, that it's a lot easier. But that makes it a very interesting discussion, because whether you are a single person or whether you're in a relationship, whether you've got a job and whatever the case may be, you're always going to be presented with an opportunity to choose to be honest with that person, or at least, if you can't externalize it, because there may be days where we want to tell our boss to piss off. but how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the desire to be honest, but not necessarily express it externally, right? Obviously, if you're driving and you're pulled up by a policeman and you get fined, there's a ways to express your frustration with that particular situation. But how do we express that honesty? And like you said, Nancy, sometimes there's a sense of political correctness. I think it's become even more and more apparent. I was noticing that Ronald Dahl, who's the book author, when I say they, whoever they are, there has been a shift about what words he uses in his books, for example, where you can't call someone something, and therefore it's been really interesting to see how society has, navigated this whole question about political correctness, because there's so much desire for people not to willingly express their views about things, and so the suppression of that honesty, the censorship of things that have occurred over the years on social media. As I said, I'm glad that we have got this opportunity to, and look, I welcome anyone that's listening to this to share in their own way, what their perception of honesty is, and where perhaps they're most challenged to be honest. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Nancy?
No, I agree with you, and I also honestly believe that there are topics that we are able to speak up about, and everybody's comfortable, and it just looks like if we're really free, and yes, we're talking about that, and yes, let's go for it because we're free. But there are other topics that are taboo, and at the moment there's a few topics that are taboo. I mean, I was just saying today about I did a video, and I was saying about looking at our city, and there's flags everywhere, and there's rainbows everywhere, and it's like, can we discuss things? Are we able to have conversations where we can actually discuss our doubts, discuss the things that we don't agree, so we can all come to terms with changes? Because it seems like changes are placed upon us, and we all have to accept it. And you're not allowed to discuss, doubts that you might have. So I think I was actually talking to a friend yesterday, and she was saying that the writer of Harry Potter, she wrote something about this new idea of, and it wasn't very, very challenging, her opinion, but it was about this idea of we don't have genders and all that. And apparently it wasn't really straightforward. It was just a comment, but she was banned. And then they had this celebration that all the famous people went, and they didn't invite her. They blocked her. And we're talking about the writer of Harry Potter. So this is the level of what can I say? I don't want to say the word D-I-C. I don't want to say that word because we don't want to be cut from our life, but are we really free? And this is something that we all need to look, and because we are fearful to express. We're fearful to express to friends, we're fearful to express to our partners, we're fearful to express to our children, and we just go, okay, and we just eat our beliefs, eat our thoughts, our words, and that goes somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I mixed it up a bit.
No, I got it. I look all up to Mauricio as well. Both Mauricio and Jess, who are partners, are online. So I invite either one of you to join us in discussions, whether it's a comment or not, about how it is, particularly in relationships, long-term relationships, long-distance relationships. Nancy and I, we live an hour apart from each other, and obviously that is challenging at different times. But others live a lot longer, further apart. But and it's about being honest about how people navigate things like that, relationships. I live about an hour and a half from work. And, I've had to be honest about the fact that my preference is to only go into work maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, but I prefer to work from home. So, and have been able to engage have those conversations with your bosses and your managers. You bring them in on the journey, and that's the thing. And so maybe that's what you were referring to, Nancy, is when change is thrust upon us. Because this is going to be the agenda or the narrative that all of a sudden society is going to think this way. when it's thrust upon us, and they don't, we're not brought onto the journey, and we feel left out, or perhaps if we have an alternative view, we feel judged. Again, coming back to how are we able to honestly deal with it and honestly express it, whether we express it internally. And maybe this is where we're going to go to with this conversation about when we're not honest. Where does that lack of honesty present itself in the body? Where does that present itself? I mean, we've had so many examples, I'm sure, and I definitely have. Is if you're so busy, and you haven't stopped for the day, what happens is you get a headache, or you feel really tired or something. The body ends up telling you. The body ends up telling you.
I wanted to go back to views, because I mean, some of the stuff that comes up for us come from a long time ago, beliefs from before. You know what I mean? Especially if we're talking about racial issues, ethnicity, sexual preferences. Some beliefs are very strong, and they're sort of like established from before. So the fact that we are not able to nowadays discuss these things, we're not able to process beliefs and emotions. So it's okay if you feel. I mean, one day, I mean, I used to train Anglo-Australian workers to work with migrants, and I used to discuss about that we are all racist and sexist, and it's just for us to acknowledge that so we can heal it. And I used to share this experience that I was one day driving, and someone drove in front of me, and I went like, oh my God. So I got upset, and I said, that must be a woman. And that belief really shocked me. You know what? And the only way I heard that belief is because I expressed it verbally. But that was a belief that was stuck in my psyche, about women not driving, or whatever the thoughts and beliefs were. But there I was, a woman driving, judging another woman driving. And this is the thing with this idea of politically correct at the moment, that we're not able to put themes and beliefs and views and judgment on the table so we can actually look at it, discuss it, and evolve. Because at the moment, what we really want to do is evolve, create more peace, be more accepting, be more loving, respectful of differences. But for us to be able to be respectful of differences, first we need to look at that we're not respectful of differences. So then we can actually catch up. And I think we experienced that 2 years ago when all these ideas, all these things of the backs came up, and we were all like, what? And you couldn't even give your opinion. You were almost like, and this is the thing with us at the moment. And not only happens socially in a family, but also within our bodies. We don't allow ourselves to express our most dense emotions. We only like the light emotions because we think that if we show the light emotions, we're going to be liked more.
I know that's been, you talk about, I mean, censorship in particular has been amazing over the last, and this is not just here in Australia. I mean, this has happened in the past, and it's happened in wars where all of a sudden all the books were being burnt. I remember you expressing the experience you had as a child. Well, not really a child, during the dictatorship in Uruguay, where you literally had to play any music really softly because there was a concern that they would be able to hear the music. And if the music was anything that talked about love or talked about connecting and connection, or anything that a musician who was perceived to be against the governing, body, some of those beliefs, some of those experiences sit with us, and they affect us in relationships. They affect us in work environments where we feel that we don't like to be controlled. We want to be freer. And so perhaps our South American heritage, me to a lesser extent because I was born here, but certainly those that travelled from South America in the 70s, coming to different countries, have had those experiences where they feel that they weren't able to express themselves honestly back in their country, but when they've got here, that honesty sometimes is expressed in a lot of anger. So it's really interesting to look at how people can be honest and how to express honesty more healthily, more healthy.
Saludable.
Yeah, no, I was just my English is failing me.
I was gonna say something, but it just okay. One of the things that I was gonna say is because I mean all the topics that we talk about and our radio program is all about consciousness and energy and growing in evolution. And one of the things that we need to really become more responsible is that we are all creating an external reality, and we create our external reality according to the limitations that we have within. So if within myself, I don't allow to express myself. And this is the thing today, you know, expressing those emotions that are like, oh my God, I'm so angry. You know, and no one has to be responsible about my anger, but I just feel so angry. If we don't start moving all that energy, we will keep creating in an external world of illusion this idea that we can't speak up, and we will be less and less able to speak up the more we block ourselves from speaking up to ourselves. And I was sharing today a tool about, you know, you don't need to express your anger to anybody, and this is what normally we do. You know, we get angry and we punch people, we go driving around and with the road rage, you know, everybody abusing each other, because that's the very unhealthy way of expressing. But if you can, in your own private space, allow yourself, and just sometimes I say to myself, okay, I'm going to listen to you, Nancy. What is it that you're really feeling? And it's like I sit with me in a very compassionate way, allowing myself to express whatever. And this is why we keep saying politically correct, because the things that are really hidden within our psyche are not politically correct, are actually quite nasty, quite judgmental. But unless we allow that to bring up to the surface and we hear it, we can't transmute it and heal it. So that's why it's so important to allow ourselves to express.
Particularly if they're belief systems that are passed through generations to generations. The stories, everything. I mean, we do a lot of work on ancestral tree healing, and those stories and those beliefs that are passed through, there's never a point in time where we've just questioned it until something happens where we question something happens and it's like, oh, hang on, but that's not, oh, why do I think differently? Or what, hang on, you know. And I think that's the thing, that's the challenge, is being able to look at things that aren't even ours, potentially, that are passed through, and we've never questioned it. I mean, one example that I can think of is I was brought up, I wouldn't use the word strict Catholic, but certainly, you know, as a child, that's it. Sunday mornings, either church in English or in Spanish. And church in my upbringing was very reverent, and you had to be quiet, and you're in church and you have to be very quiet, and, you know, you can't make a noise. And I remember as a young child just thinking, I didn't even question at the time that it was boring, but now that I reflect on that, I often think of it and go, wow, that's not my way of, you know, that's not necessarily my way of honoring. Oh, Nancy's gone. That's not my way of honoring. So yeah, I'm not quite sure whether it's Nancy's internet that's the problem. But yeah, I think it's really, really, really interesting that we are going through this stage in our lives. And I don't know if there's anyone that's listening in, whether you've got experiences in work, in relationships, where they are belief systems that are passed on that we actually don't realize, and then we haven't questioned it. I'll just get Nancy because Nancy's frozen. So let me just try to connect. I'll just try to get her back on board. Just bear with us. Nancy's dropped out. I have a feeling her laptop's on Wi-Fi, so I'm just going to try to get. What I'll do for the moment, I want to talk a little bit about a personal situation, not for me, but my beautiful sister, and I have actually another friend as well. They're going through chemotherapy, and I wanted to share the story a little bit. I had the experience on Friday to go with my sister for her first chemo treatment. And then on the Sunday, I caught up with a friend who it's almost on his last session of chemo. And it was great. I really connected to love, and I was very honest, and I felt very comfortable being there. But when I came home on the Sunday night, almost Monday, I was very flat. And I had to be honest with Nancy because I'd sort of disconnected a little bit. I just needed time for myself because I think I had to process all that. But I was honest with myself to say I just wanted to have some of me time. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that even in a relationship like with Nancy and I, it's very easy for the other partner to interpret that as a disconnection or as like, oh, they're not thinking about me. But it was something, at least in my experience, where I just needed to practice self-care. And in a relationship, when people choose to, or either partner chooses self-care where they feel that they just need their alone time and not necessarily with their partner, it's not because they don't love them. It's because they love themselves more in that sense, to practice self-care. And then you can give to your partner with much more energy. So I think that was a really interesting example for me. So I wanted to share, and so Nancy and I, in a way, want to help my sister raise some funds for not just whilst the chemo treatment's in the public domain, the living expenses aren't easy when you're not working and you're going through chemo. So on the if you have a look on the 11th of March in Sutherland, we're doing a live music meditation. So Luna, who's Nancy and I, the duo that we do, we've got a lot of meditation songs, and the intention is to have live music, and we'll play, and then we'll do a guided meditation, and it's really to honor people, not that just are going through the journey of sickness, but perhaps family members who have had family members pass as a result of sickness. And I think this is really interesting, this topic today about honesty, because when we're not honest with ourselves, it's not always easy to express things, and eventually the body feels the sickness, whether it's a particular organ, or whether it's the heart, or whether it's the skin, you get a skin reaction or something. The body expresses it eventually. And this is what I'm inviting everyone, Nancy and I, inviting people to this live music meditation, so that that we can express. And part of the music meditation is being able to sing. So releasing the vocal cords, the sound of the vocal cords is really important, because in the tradition of where we've all got chakras, the throat chakra is where we hold a lot of judgment. And when we sing, and it doesn't have to be perfect or anything, but just the sound and releasing some of that built up emotion in our throat is very fulfilling. And so I'm encouraging everyone, if they've got the opportunity, on the 11th of March, which is 3 or 4 weeks away, all the proceeds of the tickets will go towards my sister to help her in a chemo journey. So I'm just going to remove this. Nancy's still trying to get onto her laptop. I'm not sure what's going on. So, but yeah, what we're planning to do is we're going to do this live music meditation. Feel free to, if there's any questions you may have or want to find out a little bit more, yeah, by all means, just put a little comment in. We'll also put the Eventbrite link in. It's going to be in Sutherland, and Lisa from the yoga studio there, because it's a fundraiser. She's donated the space, the yoga studio, for free. So I'm really, we feel really blessed that we've been given that space. And look, we just want as many people there really to support, not just for their own healing, but also the journey that that anyone's going through in terms of sickness and everything. So, so the other thing we're doing, whilst Nancy tries to get, we're also on the 25th of March, but this time in the Blue Mountains, we're also doing our Ancestral Tree Healing Workshop. So the Ancestral Tree Healing Workshop is what we've been doing now for a couple of years, but we do one in the Blue Mountains every 2 months and then one in Sutherland. So on the 25th of March, we're running the Ancestral Tree Healing Workshop. And we touched a little bit earlier. It's the way where we can look at our genetic lineage, all our family tree, have a look at where there's some commonalities, and seeing what are the things that perhaps that are affecting us in the present life is coming from somewhere else. Okay, belief systems, the way we conduct ourselves in relationships, issues we might have at work. That's the intention, is to look at how different aspects of our family tree are being brought into our present life, and see how that affects us. I really encourage people to have a look at that. Again, we'll share the Eventbrite link on there. Poor Nancy's trying to get back onto the live on her laptop, but I'm sure, and she's honestly telling me that she can't believe she can't get on, so she's trying many things. So I'm not quite sure what's going on, but such is the case. That's what happens. So that's no doubt frustrating for her, but that's okay. The other thing that we're excited to during the week, and we sort of mentioned it last week, is the fact that we've launched our Awakening the Senses website page. It's basically almost a summary or a collection of all the different things that Nancy and I have done since 2018. 2018 when we founded Awakening the Senses, and we do everything from workshops, one-on-one. Nancy's a wedding celebrant. Obviously, we do the music together, and we have the radio program, and then we do the workshops like Ancestral Tree Healing Meditation. So if you have a look there, we've got the Awakening the Senses web address there. And just have a look at it, have a browse. There's a calendar section there too, so when we're ever doing something, an event or the radio program, you can just go in and have a look. And again, we do this freely. We do this out of the workshops. Yes, we charge an exchange for how the presentation or running the workshop, hiring the studio, all that sort of stuff. And the other exciting thing we have is also our music, solunamusic.com.au. This is, again, over many years, Nancy and I have written quite a number of songs, meditation music. We do Spanish music. We've written music which is more traditional South American music, and some contemporary stuff. And again, it's just exciting to be able to sort of put it all in one space. It's got links to music videos, links to where you can listen to the music as well. So just really excited to be able to put this into one place. It's got links to our YouTube channel and everything like that. So again, it's really exciting. So I'm not sure who's online at the moment, but yeah, just really wanted to share those 4 things. So the live music meditation on the 11th of March, which is going to be on a Saturday afternoon from 6 o'clock. So that's happening on the 11th. On the 25th of March, which is also a Saturday, we're doing it up here in Hazelbrook. Hazelbrook is about the mid-mountains, so between Penrith and Katoomba. It's sort of halfway in between. It's a beautiful wooden floor yoga studio, and again, a really powerful thing. And then obviously the 2 websites. So Nancy's still trying to connect. Not quite sure what's going on, but such is life when when you're having fun. I was going to just briefly share a video, but I'm a bit concerned that it might lock up. So just bear with us. I'm just about to see if I can share this. Perhaps not. Just bear with us. I'm just going to see if we can share a song that we wrote. Good old technology, hey? So let's see if I can connect to this. And then
my breath will bring harmony. My breath is all I need. My heart will bring harmony. My heart is all I need. So I can fly so high. So I can fly so high. My soul will bring harmony. My soul is all I need. My spirit will bring harmony. My spirit is all I need. So I can fly so high. So I can fly so high. My peace will bring harmony. My love is all I need, so I can fly so high, so I can fly so high. My breath will bring harmony. My breath is all I need. My breath will bring harmony. My breath is all I need, so I can fly so high, so I can fly so high.
Breath, an original by Soluna. I feel very, very calm, and maybe that's that thing. Maybe that's the trick for us when we want to be honest about stuff. Sometimes we can't control things. Nancy, she's lost connection at the moment, her Wi-Fi connection at home, and yeah, look, that's very unsettling, no doubt. Sometimes we just have to take those moments and breathe. We just have to breathe. That's not always easy, but that's the thing. That's the challenge for us, so that when we're unsettled, when we feel that we need to express something, sometimes we get so much, in Spanish se dice rabia, we're so frustrated that we want to tell someone off, and we want to externalize all that hate. But how do we express that in a more healthy way? And sometimes we just have to, they often say, count to 3, count to 10, breathe. And that's not always easy when we're triggered, because we're in a fight or flight. It's part of our physiologically to go into fight or flight mode. And when we feel attacked by someone, a situation, whatever, we either choose to fight or we flight. But anyway, look, thanks for everyone for joining us. Those that are going to read and listen to this live after, apologies on behalf of Nancy, because she's as frustrated that she lost connection. But yeah, look, again, look forward to hearing, being on again next Tuesday. We're going to start our radio program in March, but we're still planning to be doing these lives on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Until then, ciao, ciao.